Welcome to episode 6 of the Global Exclusive Podcast. I'm your host, Hazard. I'm joined this week by Bharos.
Oh shit, wait, I completely forgot this.
Cotton Sea.
Wait, am I supposed to be awake right now?
Dream Blitz.
Yeah, I got nothing either.
Muspel.
Sylvie is only slightly better than Marie.
And Shadow Walker.
Marie's probably just slightly better than Sylvie.
Oh my gosh. We're happy to be back again this week. Our sponsor is Arena. Have you guys ever thought, my FFBE experience is just too nice? Well, the Arena is for you. Do you like going into the Arena and getting one shot by random LB first turn teams? It's completely RNG based. Or do you guys love being attacked by Lilith teams with all counters? And if that wasn't bad enough, if you really want to delete your account, the Arena can help you there too. Because when you try to enter the Arena, it'll take you back to the main title and log you out of your account.
Fuck that shit.
Actually, never had that happen to me before.
And now, for an unlimited time, Arena now features Rem, who can drain your entire party's MP to 0. Arena. Get fucked, nerds.
This is so exciting.
I see another rainbow.
What the heck?
Oh boy.
Welcome to the podcast, Shadow. I'm happy to hear you're listening.
Everything you said has been backed by Fujimoto-san.
Because he gave us one of the best copy pastas of all time.
So this week we've got the Final Fantasy XI banner with Wizardess Shantotto and Lilisette from Final Fantasy XI, which I've never played, but the characters are actually pretty cool, so we'll get into that. We'll talk about the new Tiamat trial, which was a lot of fun, and there's also a revisit to all the trial of the Chamber of the Forsaken. And then we're also going to talk about our favorite global exclusive units of 2019. So let's get right into the Final Fantasy XI banner. Now, I thought it was kind of funny. We've had the news for this banner like 6 times this week. And apparently the reason for that is, at least one of the times, was the French version of the news misspelled sorceress, or the French word for sorceress, and spelled Sauceboat instead. So Sauceboat Shantotto is now the official translation in English for me.
Yeah, that's what she's forever going to be in my heart.
It's canon. Official news.
Sauceboat. It's so excellent also, like Sauceboat. It's like, I'm going to change my Steam nickname to that.
Well, it can't be worse than Fina, right?
Sauceboat is pretty nice, actually.
Sauceboat Shantotto.
So, quick roll call. How many did actually play Final Fantasy XI here?
I tried to install it once. Does that count?
Wow, okay. So, nobody actually. Interesting.
Excellent.
So, I'm the only one that has actually met Shantotto in her short form in the actual game.
Does she have a tall form?
No, she's just short all the time.
I mean, she's got a limit burst that makes her a colossal Shantotto.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Is that canon?
I don't know, actually. I never got to the end game of Final Fantasy XI because the game was grindier than like a Korean pay-to-win MMO. So I played like...
When you stopped at the word Korean, I got a little worried.
Huh? Is that a dirty joke coming from Hazard?
I thought it was going to be from you.
Oh, no. I would never do a dirty joke. I don't know what you're thinking about.
Hazard, get your mind out of the gutter.
Yeah, really. Like, first Dream,
Think
now
about
you.
your kids, Hazard.
Hey, I did nothing wrong.
I love how
being
Dream
brave.
just got completely scapegoated last week for that joke.
I thought that was great. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend Final Fantasy XI, though. Just saying that. Now let's talk about the units.
So actually, Wizardess Shantotto is pretty good. She got some global exclusive upgrades, I think, to one of her cooldowns, got like an extra turn, and her mods are a little higher. So she's actually doing some pretty solid damage, and she's also got a limit burst spam rotation that isn't as good, but can provide some nice alternatives if you need to do non-elemental damage.
Yeah, it's also her AoE option because she's one of the few mages that her main chains are single target. So I guess maybe they had Dark Visions in mind for that as well, or just as a difference. But yeah, she can use her limit burst rotation when she needs AoE.
Another nice thing about the limit burst rotation is that it doesn't cost any MP on most turns. Like, all you have to do is use the play rough once every 5 turns, which is 84 MP. So if you're fighting a boss that drains MP a lot, which is something that Gumi really likes to do with GLX bosses, that rotation could be very helpful. And of course, it's also nice if there's a kill with LB mission, because it means that it's impossible to fail that, because that's all your damage.
Yeah, which one of you degenerates wanted more Hasiko? Was it you, Shadow?
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah. Did you pull 2 Shantottos? I hope you did, and I hope they give us a Hasiko now.
No, I skipped Shantotto because I don't have any Lapis right
Also, because the Chamber of Vengeance apparently is now canceled from now on because we haven't had one in months.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
But,
If it saves us from more Hasiko, then I'm okay with it.
I still hope we get more Hasiko.
Yeah, let's not hope for that, actually.
Were you
One
going to say
thing I
Bharos?
like... No, I was just going to say the one thing... Okay. You need to stop interrupting me.
Who?
I'm just kidding. No, but one thing I wanted to say was that, unlike Zyrus, who unfortunately was horrible for the trial he was designed for, Shantotto actually has a nicer mix of elements, kind of like wait, I keep forgetting what her name is. CG Legs. It's like White Lily, Dark Fina. Yes?
Yes.
CG legs.
Yes.
Let's just
Yeah,
keep
CG
calling her
legs.
CG legs. That's what everyone calls her anyway.
It's just Zebrafina.
One of the 16 Finas.
Yeah, because one thing that I like about Shantotto is that she has one of the light-dark element synergies. She has one of the non-classic elements, which is like either wind, earth, or water, and then she has one of the classic elements, thunder. So that's actually pretty nice.
I guess at the same time, you've got lightning and water being an opposing pair as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's very rare that you'll run into a boss that's immune to all 3 of her elements. And on top of that, there's a couple of other nice things about her kit. She can buff magic mitigation, and that skill also has a barrier on it. It's 30% magic mitigation and a 1k AoE barrier, which is pretty good. She doesn't have stacking modifiers, so she can swap elements mid-fight if she wants to, and she doesn't really feel any pain from that. And she has 225% innate TDH. For most mages, when you look at their damage in a vacuum, just looking at a spreadsheet, they use TDH, but in practice on fights, they have to start taking out those TDH materia for killers or whatever. Because Shantotto caps out her TDH with just 1 materia, she doesn't really have that problem. She's still a mage, so she still has issues with getting enough killers, and the fact that if you don't have certain STMRs or Chin's TM, there's no TDH mag accessories still hurts her. But in terms of gearing problems, she's a lot better off than most mages.
One thing is though that because you'll need those extra slots for her often to get her bulk a bit higher, because I think she's only got 20% innate HP. I mean, it's fairly standard for mages, but it's still low. Built for pure damage, she only has 6.5k health.
Yeah, that is true.
But at least the base stats are better than the angry form.
That's not saying much, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty comfortable saying that she's the best mage in the game right now. Not by a huge margin. I still wouldn't pull for her unless you have no mages at all and you really want to clear Moon as soon as possible. But
Would you say the margin's pretty short?
Oh,
Or tiny.
Oof. You would actually say she's better than CG Legs.
I think so, yeah. Because having higher innate TDH is good. Having better elemental flexibility is good. The LB option is nice. Having that magic mitigation is nice, and so on.
But CG Legs press pretty decent elemental flex.
Yeah, I would say their flex is about the same, because
Yeah.
she's got fire, earth, and dark. So it's again one of the primaries, one of the secondaries, one of light and dark.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, when talking about elemental flexibility, I'm including the fact that Shantotto doesn't have the ramping modifier, so she can swap elements.
And that's
That's
actually
true.
a really good thing. That is a good thing. You can actually do a lot of stuff with that. And the barrier with the magic mitigation is not that bad.
Especially since the main fight for mages is Wicked Moon, and on that fight, Livid Shantotto Wizardess Shantotto has an easier time because she can swap elements, or just go with the non-elemental option. For that fight, she probably would just go
The thing is,
non-elemental.
isn't
because that's
Wizardess
AoE.
Shantotto single target?
Well, her LB rotation is AoE, and that's what you would probably use for Moon.
The other thing that CG Darkfina has over Shantotto is that Darkfina has the option of TTW if you have obviously the equipment and materia for it. And
That's
if you go TTW, that allows for a lot more gearing options for killers or even tankiness. So I still think there's a bit of an advantage of taking.
That's definitely true, but I feel like a lot of the Magic TDW gear is from limited units or banners that weren't that great. So if you have that gear, it means that you might have been making really bad life choices to begin with.
Yeah, that's for sure. So, but I still think that flexibility allows for more room, I guess, in the future if you end up getting the STMRs for it for TDW rather.
I mean, it's not too hard to get them. Some of the Magic TD True Duel with SMRs. You just need UOC, some Nuggies, and use the STMR ticket. Like, how hard can it be, right?
I have 0 Nagi, so pretty fucking hard. I have 2 Raven Hearts though.
But yeah, overall, I would say that Shantotto, she's not a troll rainbow, but she's not really worth chasing unless, like I said, you just really need a mage and want to do Wicked Moon right away. If you've already done Moon, or if you don't feel the need to clear it right now, this is another banner you can skip, or at least you can skip it on account of her. We can talk about Lilisette next.
But I'm just going to say one final thing. I do think it's nice that they put in a lot of these nice Final Fantasy 11 homage. Is that how you pronounce it? Oh, shit. Yeah, we're not supposed to talk about pronunciation. Whatever. A lot of Final Fantasy 11 stuff into her kit. And so, like, if you're super nostalgic about wasting too much of your goddamn life into Final Fantasy 11, it might be an interesting banner to pull for, because it is a good unit.
So did you pull for them, Bharos?
No, actually I haven't. But I'm gonna actually ask if it's if we should later on.
You should know better than to ask that. Bharos only pulls for limited units.
Yeah, I do. Jesus.
I will say that the nice thing is, if you do need a good mage, Lilisette is not a troll rainbow either, I would say. So the banner, if you want to pull on it, is pretty good value, and the step up itself is also pretty good value in comparison to most 25Ks. So we can talk about Lilisette. I remember when I first saw her kit, I was a little confused about it, because it seems like she's got a lot of different things kind of all over the place, but a lot of them are just one use things. So it's almost like a Magnus type ability. But I think Muspel, you had a good explanation of how you would use her when we were talking about this in Wiki Radiant.
I think that if you look at her as a chainer who also provides physical mitigation, she's pretty good. And then on top of that, she has a bunch of skills that you can use as emergency backup things. Like she has emergency breaks. She has a cooldown that removes all debuffs and gives a 5k barrier and gives 40% mitigation to the party and cures all ailments. And that's pretty good on any unit. It's especially nice on a chainer, where you're not really worrying about which support you're using. She also has significant AoE LB fill. She does a lot of different things, and she doesn't really replace supports for the most part, but she supplements them in a way that frees up actions, which is really nice if it's a fight where you get dispelled or where you're worried about random units dying.
Yeah, I think she's in a really good spot for us, actually, because I think the main difference is, unlike JP, her damage is a lot higher for us in GL. She wasn't really viable as like your damage dealer in P, but she's in a very good spot, even just pure damage wise for us. And also that's probably partly because this banner is actually very, very early compared to JP. It's like 2 or possibly even 3 months early, I think, schedule wise. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, both of them are in a much better spot between buffs and schedule changes.
That being said, this is a banner with 2 damage dealers, and I mean, we all know that damage dealer banners come around constant. So if you already have decent damage dealers, this is, again, one of those banners. You don't have to pull on it. You can skip it, especially if you're lacking in tanks or healers or breakers or buffers. It's probably more worthwhile to save your resources for upgrading those roles than it is to upgrade your damage dealer.
I'm really interested what Gumi wants to do with this whole schedule swapping, because Shantotto, as Dream mentioned, came like 2 or 3 months earlier, because Shantotto was a week before all the Esper units started coming out in JP, and Shantotto was also after Tidus, Zidane, and even CG Stola. So like they skipped 3 CGs to release this shorty, and she's also our 4th damage dealer in a week. So it's like, what are they trying to do in April or in this, or rather this month, to that they're shuffling this around so hard. And obviously the theory going around is that the Final Fantasy VII Remake's coming out next month. So they're shuffling everything around just to fit CG Cloud in there. That was one theory that I heard.
Maybe, but it could also be that they could just be working for a better quarter 2. Like they could be moving all the popular units to quarter 2 to get better profits.
I think they're just getting ready for the release of 7-star Rico.
Yes, that's probably it.
I was kind of thinking that they're just sort of like, if they see, say, a future unit that fits well into like a current spot with minimal buffs, like Shantotto didn't really need much of anything to be sort of good and appropriate for this time, whereas if she was released at a normal time, she would definitely need a more significant buff. So like, and I think they did similar with Noctis, where it's sort of, if he was released at his normal time, it would have needed a bit of a buff. So instead, they opted to move a future unit here and then give more significant buffs to ones that already needed buffs later.
Yeah, so this way they only have to buff 1 unit instead of 2.
Except they still kind of buff them.
Well, yeah, but
Fair bit.
it's not as much work.
But
maybe,
that
I
was
don't
the
know.
running grid list.
I mean, in general, it's a really weird move. It's going to be interesting to see what happens out of this.
Well, keeps us on our toes.
Yep, I guess.
I want to mention one quick thing about the raid that these units came out on. So apparently now you can get bonus coins by using the units on the banner. But what I did find out is also that the cost of the coin pulls are now 4 times as much as usual, which means overall it's actually a big nerf to how many coins and resources we get, unless you're running like 6 Shantotto.
I mean,
The thing is, you wonder if this is intended, or is this some unfortunate copy paste from the Japan version of the game?
Based
really
on the
don't know
ad
what's
wheel,
going on.
you remember the ad wheel where we got 7 instead of 5, and then they bumped up the numbers, but then they made it so you never get Lapis? That's basically what this seems like to me.
So, hang on. On the wiki, it says that each normal summon on the raid banner costs 100 coins. It's just the box summons that cost 400.
I think it's more likely that the wiki is just copied from the previous event and not updated yet. But one thing I will say that, yeah, the actual box summon, which is, I would say, where the bulk of the good stuff comes from, has only gone from 300 to 400. So that's a 33% increase. So it only takes, 40%, so 2 Zides to sort of improve on the box summon. But then obviously, yeah, once you finish the boxes and get to the coins, then it's a lot worse.
So what you're saying is everyone should pull on this banner to get some bonus units for this raid. Okay.
Yes, please. Everyone else pull.
Yes.
Yes,
I mean,
Bharos,
I
pull
put
some
in-
of 5-star bonus units for me. Thank
All right,
you.
listen. I'm going to pull a ticket right now while you're talking. You can talk about the
Nice.
units. I'm going to pull a ticket.
Yeah, well, I guess just speaking of tickets, I did put in like far too many tickets to get 1 Zide. Took like 20 and a couple of gold ones.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa, that's
And the gold
an
ones
investment,
were
though.
first as well. I wasn't planning on doing that much. It was like, oh, I'll take like 5 tickets, get a bonus unit.
Right.
I was vested.
Slippery slope.
The game
Yeah,
knew
pretty
what you were trying to do, and it bamboozled
I'm
you.
using 4-star tickets right now. I just got the 2 other 4-star units whose names start with Z. Zyrus and Zalulu and whatever the hell his name is.
Zalulu and Delilu.
So Bharos. Bharos Muspel. Everyone.
Why are you calling us out?
Hazard,
What's
make
going
up your
on?
mind.
Bharos, did you pull your stupid ticket?
No, I haven't, because I just realized I left the game in one of the trials for the trial revisit thing.
Did you
I
get
just
logged out of
killed-
Arena?
No, not that. But I'm gonna pull in a second. One thing I want to say about Lilisette, though, is that one thing that I actually like about her is, well, we actually didn't mention this, but her damage is actually decent, right? So let's not forget that she's like right above AK Rain, more or less, right?
She's actually quite a bit higher than that. I think
really?
she's above Tifa, especially now that we've realized that I think she can cap 2 lots of her chain with 1 Viper Bite. And that puts her damage like almost at the top.
I think she might be. No, wait, Adele. She's the second strongest non-limited physical chainer in GL. So she loses to Adele, and she loses probably to Xuan.
Yeah, I think she's a bit below them.
Yeah.
But like 3rd
Also-
overall.
Her TMR and SMR are both pretty nice. The TMR is 40% attack plus 30% with a dagger, and the STMR is 53 attack, magic, and defense, just flat with auto refresh and a ribbon attached to it, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
I will
It's
say
very nice.
I'm not a big fan of daggers as a weapon type because their item world rare isn't that great. I really like having the 20% HP, 20% attack that you get on most physical damage dealer weapons. The LB fill rate is nice for supports and tanks, but damage dealers typically don't care about it, and Lilisette definitely doesn't.
Cold water on my parade.
But I mean, on the flip side, like if you have like some of the STMR daggers lying around, you can just get her to 100% evade build just stupidly easy.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that because she has 30% innate, and then with one of the 30% evade daggers, she's like, that's a favored weapon type for her already, and then she can get another 50% from 2 colorful lays, and that's 110% evasion with basically no damage loss.
It is obscene.
Well, the colorful lays would be a damage loss because of the they only give 25% TDW.
Yeah, but it's a very
yeah,
small.
It wouldn't be
It's
that
a very
bad.
minimal one, yeah.
Cap attack pretty easily.
So it sounds like Bharos is still taking his sweet time.
No, I'm looking at the yellow crystal, okay? Because I used the 4-star ticket. It's a yellow crystal. I don't want to tap it because I want to do it on the pod. So I'm going to tap it now. Yeah, it's definitely not going to... Okay, yeah, it wasn't a rainbow. Okay. I was a bit worried there because, like, you get the less raise when it's a rainbow. Oh, nice. Look, late bonus unit.
The less raise.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But you know what I mean, right?
That sounds like a bad pronunciation of a Lespris. The less raise.
Okay, we're not going to do the pronunciation. Wait. So do the bonus things, do they count with friend units too?
Yes, they do.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So it's just a regular bonus deal then. Okay.
I was going to say, just the bonuses are a lot lower than the Mod King ones. Like it's 20%, 30%, 60%.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it at all. I have 12k lapis that I saved up to pull for Madame Edel because I got one Madame Edel from the 10+1 yesterday.
Oh, do it.
And I was like, do I do it on the pod?
Oh my god, do it.
Do it.
Wait, Cotton, before we do this, how many Edels does Cotton have?
None, which I'm very happy to keep it that way.
Yeah, right. I got her STMR. I went all in. I did it.
Yeah, me too.
It's okay, Hazard. We understand that sometimes people make bad decisions.
I am so happy with it. It only took me 3 laps, so I pulled 2 on the banner, and then I got the 2 others from coins, the Unit and Prism. So I got STMR. And now I'm going to put it on my 5 Lilith arena team, blah, blah, blah.
People are allowed to make bad decisions.
Speaking of bad decisions, if you know anybody who uses multiple tanks in their arena team, please punch them in the face and then delete their account.
No, tanks are fine. Tanks with passive cover are not.
Oh, they all seem to have it.
With counters.
Tanks with passive cover and counters are the worst.
Especially on the no W cast
spec for passive cover.
Yeah, everyone who's listening to this, please check the specs of your Phoenix and Golem and make sure that auto cover is not in either.
Alexander, not
Alexander.
Oh, was it Alexander, not Phoenix?
Yeah.
It was, but I had to unfriend like 5 people because they had him on it. I was like, no, I'm not taking this shit. So I just unfriended them immediately. So rip to those guys.
All right, Shadow. Let's see. Do the polls?
Oh, I'll do it later. I'm thinking on it. Give me like 30 minutes. We can do the Tiamat section, and then we can come back to it.
Wow.
Are you backing out?
No, I'm not backing out. I'm building
How?
hype. I'm building hype. Okay.
All right. Fine.
That was very anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Feeling unsatisfied.
Me too.
It's okay.
Fine. I'll just do 1 ticket on the other banner.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes. Here we go.
Hooray for peer pressure.
Do it.
1 regular ticket on the other banner gives.
She gets it down into the lap so hard. Oh, it could change.
It might crack.
Nope. Wayham. See, I told you there's no point pulling.
Okay. I'm gonna pull 1 on the Adele banner too. I have like 4 Adeles. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm doing this in solidarity.
Peer pressure.
Do it on the Final Fantasy 11 banner instead.
Why? I don't want the units.
Bonus units.
Yeah, no. I also got a blue, so unfortunate.
We're here to show you that most people don't have good luck on this game.
Yeah, and that we are terrible at like decision making in general, or at least I am.
Oh, did I tell you guys? So I haven't slept for a month because I have a newborn. And the other day I woke up and one of the daily missions was to purchase a bundle from the shop. So as usual, I go down and purchase the Gil bundle because it's 30,000 Gil for some cactuars, whatever. I click on it, click purchase, and then I see my Lapis go down. I'm like, wait, what happened? And in my delirium, I managed to click on the spring ticket bundle, the one that comes with 10 spring tickets and a USD and a bunch of other junk. So I immediately sent a ticket in, and they said, nope, you're screwed.
They literally answered and said, like, get good.
They basically, they don't ever refund Lapis bundles purchases. So I pulled on it, and of course I got 20 gold and 10 king pots.
Yeah, that sounds pretty standard.
That is the worst ticket I've ever. Like 10% tickets are probably better than those. It's a terrible banner.
But let's be honest, who actually has gotten the rainbow from a 10% ticket?
I got one once. I don't even remember what it was.
I got one a few times.
I've gotten two, and I remember both of them.
I haven't got one in a year at least. Well, it wasn't a big card.
No, it wasn't. So my first 10%, don't ask me why, okay? Because I make terrible decisions, okay? That's the answer. My first 10% went on the original Citra banner, and I got my second Citra. Okay, listen, I make terrible decisions, okay? We've already been over this. So I actually got a Citra from that.
What happened to 30% rainbow tickets anyways? We used to get those.
Yeah, that's a good question, actually.
They were decided to be too good, I guess, even though they weren't.
Yeah. But I'm just going to say my second one. That was actually on the Machina banner. I'd already gotten 4 Machinas, and I was hoping to get my first Kurasame. And I used my 10% ticket. Yeah, I got a 5th Machina. But I mean, Machina is a great unit, so I'm happy for that.
Yeah, they were both good.
So let's talk about the Scorn of Tiamat trial that came out this week. This one was a lot of fun. I was impressed at the damage output that this boss does to a physical tank. Hard. He destroys your physical tank if you're not evading.
Yeah, I kind of. So what I did was I first used Awakened Warrior of Light as a dodge tank, but then that felt a bit bad, so I decided to use Dr. Aiden as my dodge provoke tank and slotted in another finisher to kill it quicker. So that worked out pretty well.
So 2 things. First off, it's pronounced Tiamat. Second.
Jesus Christ.
Second.
There we go.
She, not he.
Is it just one? Because there's like 30 dragon heads on that thing.
Wait. How do you know like it's a she though? Like this is interesting.
It says in descriptions.
The name is from Babylonian mythology. She's the goddess of the sea or something.
Huh. Okay.
Huh.
So yeah, I actually struggled a fair bit on the Tiamat trial because I don't have any of the really strong meta tanks right now. So I don't have AWOL, I don't have Cecil, and I also don't have.
Are you saying your big heart isn't enough?
No, well, he was. Like, I mean, I did beat the trial, but I also don't have Mirage. And those 3 things combined made this trial a pain in the ass for me.
I think that if you use dodge, which tanks you have isn't actually as important, as long as you have 50% general mitigation.
Yeah, because your magic tank, it can resist most of the element stuff, so that bulk doesn't matter that much. And then if you have like a dodge provoker, they don't even necessarily need to be a tank.
Yeah, the magic tank will resist all of the magic damage they cover, and the provoke tank will dodge everything. So all you have to worry about is the fixed physical AoE and getting the
but I'm just going to say that's only true depending on what else you have in your team, okay? Because if you do a dedicated magic cover tank, which of course you have to, and then you also do a dedicated physical provoke tank that's evade, and let's say it's a low utility unit like Galuf, so it's not bringing anything to your team, then like the rest of the slots are pretty slim, because you also need a breaker, and then you also need a healer or some type of hybrid, right? And you need a damage dealer. So if you're doing the double tank strat with an actual physical tank as your dodge provoke tank, then you're not going to have a great time, because I did that and it was like you're not getting the buffs in because I don't have Myra or any of the healers that have strong buffs. Not true. I in the end I had to use a different role as the evade dodge tank or as the evade provoke tank in order to slot in like a Mirage, all the elemental resistances, buffs, and mitigation.
Okay, so I actually did what you're saying, Bharos, which is I brought Awakened Warrior of Light and Charlotte. Awakened Warrior of Light was just built for bulk. So
but AWOL has a kit that's actually reasonable.
Right. I would say even with them, and that's the first time I've ever used 2 tanks at the same time on a trial. And I mean like 2 actual tanks, because some people use a Provoke Evader support unit and like an actual tank, but this time I've never used more than just 1 tank ever. And so I was struggling with what you were saying about the team composition, trying to fit in all the different elements that I needed to win this fight. And Myra actually came in really handy because she's got a limit burst that removes imperils for the fire imperil. So I would, cross the threshold and then remove the fire resist or the fire imperil for my team, so I could survive the big AOE nuke the next turn. But it was still pretty hefty.
I just put on re-raise every time the thresholds came out, just because I didn't want to deal with dispelling my whole team and stuff like that. So I think that's another option, just because sometimes it's harder, especially if you're going the mage route, to have full 110% and 120% on both dark and fire resist. So I just decided to equip CG Darkfina with dark resist and let both trainers die during each of the thresholds, and it worked out pretty fine.
I think that works better if you're using magic damage dealers. I was using Tifa because I don't have any good magic damage dealers. My best one I think is Kirke, Circe, whatever you want to call it. And so I took 20 turns with Tifa using the non-re-raise strategy. So I think if you have a magic damage dealer, I think Shadows will probably work better. If you don't, you may be stuck because you have to get in with 25 turns.
I was using Tifa as well, and I had the Tifas and my Evade Provoke Kryla just re-raising through each threshold because I couldn't get her to enough fire with the other gear requirements. And I did it in 19 turns, I think. But also like at the start of the fight, I didn't realize you needed a dark resist buff turn 1 because I knew the dark damage came after poison down, but I didn't realize there was a poison down in the preemptive. So yeah, first turn half my team got floored, and it took till about turn 5 to finally recover. But yeah, and then I took 19 overall, and I actually used your Tifa as a friend hazard, so that was pretty good.
I carried you.
Nice.
Yeah, sure. I think mine was actually stronger.
So I want to ask you all about your opinion on one thing that I'm struggling with this trial. So when I'm looking at it, I think it's quite obvious that this trial was, or maybe it isn't obvious, so argue with me on this, that this trial was actually designed to raise the strongest meta units right now. Because if you have the Paladin Cecil, the AWOL, the Myras, maybe even the Lock in there, you're going to have a lot easier time doing this trial. In fact, you're going to have it so easy, you might even trivialize parts of the trial. And at the same time, the trial was very fun.
But the trend over the past few months of trials has shown that Mirage is important. So
yeah. I mean, Mirage is definitely a big. I would say, in this trial, Mirage as well as strong defensive buffs are really, really important to slot in to your team. And some of the meta units right now have these things in their kits, which is why I think the trial was designed to bring out the power in them, right? You're going to see these YouTube videos, you're going to see completion threads with people using these units that you might not have.
Did you see the Reddit wiki clears? The first 20 or whatever was just using Xuan, every single one.
And then someone cleared with Rebirth, so
that too.
Yeah,
they got to limit those to 3 of the same team, and that's it. Use something else.
I mean, I'm just not so sure about liking this approach where you're going to design a trial that's easy if you have the right units. I mean, I understand why you'd want to do it, but I don't know if I like that.
Mean, it's not really a new thing. Gumi repeatedly made global exclusive units that were tailor-made to trivialize upcoming fights. Sylvie was great for what's the fight?
Armageddon?
Elemental Tetris, all of them?
Yeah, a bunch of different stuff, honestly. Esther was great for Armageddon, and also I think wasn't she really good for Glacial?
She killed Demon Wall. She's perfect for Demon Wall.
Well, Demon Wall was far enough away at that point.
The Octopus Teacher thing, because she absorbed lightning.
Yeah,
right, that was it. Octopus Teacher, and she also had the Earth Resist, which you wanted.
And you look at Xyrus. Look at Xyrus. He was hand-picked for the Tiamat trial, except
not.
He literally can't do any damage on this one.
I mean, I would say Xyrus.
I mean, you could go non-elemental damage. Did that actually even work? Non-elemental road for Xyrus?
It might, but I think the damage from it is kind of low. I haven't actually looked at his non-elemental in a while.
Doesn't he only have like a one-hit non-elemental spell that he can't multicast?
I think he's got a chain for
He
it.
has? Okay.
I thought it was going to be a big deal, but it turned out it wasn't even an issue if you use that secret TMR.
Ooh, yeah.
He has a bolting strike non-elemental skill.
He does. Okay. I should know this. I have a Zyrus. I like him, but I've never gotten to use him. But I want to say something about the
I used to
Tiamat
love
trial, though. Because I used finally I got to use Rivera, because Rivera is one of those units, if you've been around for at least a little while, you know that she was both hated and loved at the same time by two different camps of people. One camp thought, of course, she was absolutely worthless, and the other camp thought that, well, she's worthless but has some specific uses. And I got to use her for Tiamat. I've never before gotten to use this unit, and I built this weird comp where I had my Fid evade provoking thanks to Rivera. And you know what? It actually worked really well. And I actually got a much, much faster clear on my second run. My first run took 20 turns. My second run didn't. It was much faster. And yeah, go Rivera, I guess.
19 turns? Is that
No,
much faster?
no. I don't want to say, because I'm still not proud of it. I need to optimize it, but it's 14, so it's decent.
Okay, that's not bad.
You said something, Bharos, in the Discord the other day, that going in the second time after kind of having done some trial and error the first time was so much easier now that you kind of knew the fight and knew what to expect.
That wasn't actually me. That was someone else, but I agree fully with that sentiment. That is true. Because the trial is pretty much knowing what skills come after what, and it is easier taking it on a second time.
I guess one last closing point is that I like the fact that Gumi's been giving us one trial per week so far. I think they've been pretty consistent on that since the New Year. So I hope this trend continues, because it gives all the veterans to munch at something for at least a week before we move on to the next big thing. I mean, yeah, Asura and like the other Espers really aren't worth much, but still, they're still better than nothing. So
Yeah,
I just
and
wanna
we
say-
still got like Demon Wall and Tiamat 2 weeks apart when they would normally expected to be like a month apart.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's definitely sped up a little bit.
And both of them are good like benchmark trials too, which I like. You can take your new DPS to them and just see how they perform.
We also got the final version of Madame Manor this week, which I thought was an excellent story, one of the best in FFB so far.
Yeah. She like all Madame stories actually surprisingly good. I wonder why.
She's a cool unit, man. She's cool.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
gotta
I
ask more.
agree, but I agree. Also, I haven't gotten to use her on a single fucking trial because she's absolutely ungearable. God damn it.
It's not that bad.
No, it's not.
It
It's
is
not.
kind
You
of
have to
funny
get
that
good.
they did design a couple of these trials at her release to be disadvantageous to her.
No, I mean, like it's just that Tiamat is obviously not a super nice trial for her. Like you of course you can do it; it's not a problem. But and the same thing with the Demon Wall. Although my best clear so far on the Demon Wall is with Madam. It's a sub 10 run. So
Realistically,
Nice.
Venomous Vines is going to be the one that I think you just don't use her on it if you have any other decent option.
wait, there are more trials I don't want to use her on. Jesus.
Venomous Vines is immune to Earth and does ludicrous AoE magic damage. Uncoverable.
Oh wow! So rest in peace,
I think-
Madam.
I think after that she's pretty good for some of them at least. But yeah, she should be quite good for Tiamat if you can gear for the fire resist, because with her gun she has pretty decent physical health and innate earth. I guess if you're not re-raising, then dispel's not an issue, but innate earth works fine, and then I guess dispel the mirage or just use it to build up more time for stacks.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest problem with Madam and Tiamat is that I don't actually have a good source of turn 1 resistances. So
yeah, I had a bit of that.
I mean,
too.
I can still eat it with a re-raise, which I did, but like it's not a great run.
I did want to mention real quick as well, something that apparently both myself and Muspel missed was we saw the news for this revisit to all the Chamber of Forsaken. Chamber of Forsaken?
Chamber of
They're
the
all-
Fallen?
Chamber of the Fallen. There's so many freaking different names. I'm so sick of them.
Yeah.
Anyways, they are where the world revisit quests are in your normal quest little bar. So you can revisit all of the old ones and get 100 lapis pops. That was pretty nice to do. And they're only 10 energy right now.
Yeah, and
I
you know
think
what?
it's permanent.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
Not the quest, the 10 energy.
And one thing I want to say is, I know it's a useless exercise, right? Because you can easily steamroll these trials, but I actually like that. Okay, I liked taking my new and shiny units and finishing off trials in one hit. It was enjoyable.
And feeling the power creep.
Yes.
See.
Just like feeling the power, like taking it to trials I struggled with, like the OG Marlboro trial. Oof. And just like
Okay, look, the OG
deleting them.
Marlboro trial, like it was painful trying to do it. I just went in there with legs and did a 2-turn KO.
Yeah.
Power
Or like
creep.
a Gaion, I spent 4.5 hours with Rem single target damaging it for when it first came out. I was standing in
Wow.
line at the DMV, and guess what? The DMV line was longer than 4.5 hours, so I knew I had time.
Ugh. Wow.
But
Killed in 1 turn with legs.
yep,
Do you guys
1 turn KO.
Do you guys feel like
Yeah.
compared to older trials, I remember struggling really hard with Gilgamesh, the Robo trial, and especially Moon. Those three I struggled really hard with. But then the new Kai trials, like the Scorn trials, aren't as hard, like in terms of relative power creep versus the units. Do you think that's true? Is it
That's
just
that's a whole podcast topic. I think that Gumi made a lot of mistakes, or Alan, I guess, made a lot of mistakes with like just Kiraja or heals around that level are a big mistake.
Mhm.
It used to
You mean
be
training?
that you couldn't heal your team up to full in a single turn. You just couldn't do it.
Yeah, let's actually keep this topic because this is an excellent topic. Let's do it on the next episode. That's a
Okay.
promise to
Yeah,
all of you
okay.
listeners.
All
That's a
right,
good
we
plan.
can start with the next one then. So we did want to talk today about our favorite global exclusive units from the year 2019. So we all chose a different unit to talk about. Why don't we start with you, Bharos, on who's your favorite unit and why?
So this was actually difficult. I liked a lot of the GLEX, but then all of you took all the units that I like too. So I'm going to talk about the best GLEX unit that all of us probably shamelessly used on far too many trials. Well, everyone except Cotton because she never pulled one. I don't know why. Or actually, you have. So I'm talking about Elena.
Just off banner 1 recently.
Yeah, I've still
there we
got 0 copies of it.
Yeah, that's a shame.
That's
Which
So
unit are you
Elena,
talking about?
Elena, that's the unit I'm talking about. Okay.
Wait, if you're talking about the best GLX unit of all time, that's Ling.
Elena, you mean the unit who unfairly stole the crown of best GLX unit from Chow?
Yeah,
That
I guess
CG was
maybe.
an unfair advantage.
But also it's 2019, so let's not dig into the past because there are some really decent GLEX in the past. But so 2019, Elena easily takes the cake. Amazing kit. She has everything. She can do mitigation on your team when 30% was still enough. She can do elemental resistances while still doing top tier damage. She doesn't die. She just has this insane burst that she sets up on turn 2 if you needed to. Like amazing unit, great animation, great CG. Like I just it's nothing much to say. She also has like 3 elements, right? Imbues and imperils for 3 elements. Oof, such a great unit.
she's still really good too. Like it's not like she's suddenly aged and we can't use her either. But her biggest downfall, I think, is that she do much better with external imperils because her own imperils aren't the most impressive right now.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
if you have external imperils, she's still a really, really good damage dealer and has a nice support kit.
Yeah, and she does actually pair really well with Locke because Locke can handle the breaking and miraging, and he brings 120% water imperil for her.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think I did the math a couple of months ago, like back when Radiant Lightning was our top DPS, and the gear that was available then, like Whalish gear, sure, and you supply her with 120% imperil, she would still outdamage the Whale Radiant Lightning back then. And I don't know what the comparison is now. I guess, Shadow, you'd know on your sheet.
Sorry, what was the question?
Thank you. Welcome to the podcast, Shadow. I'm happy to hear you're listening. No, I was just saying.
And I thought I'm the half asleep one.
I know that. So Elena is one of those units that scales really well with STMRs and being whaled out, especially with an external imperil. I know that a while back I did a comparison where she was strong, but I don't know how she holds up now with the gear that we have.
Comparatively, she scales really well, especially with whale gear, just because a lot of the TDH hybrid, items are either STMRs or limited time stuff. So you're forced to basically be a whale to get the full out of it. But then again, there's the idea of hybrid units is that Lenvision and RF exist. So it's like if you want to use a hybrid, why would you want to use Elena over the other two when there's already better options? But yeah. as it stands, she's still a very good unit.
Yeah, and one thing that you shouldn't forget about Elena, which is great, is that you can just have her in your weekly.
The red quartz one.
Yeah, the door challenges that we have every week.
Chamber of Doors.
Yeah, the Chamber of Doors, whatever. she can be a staple unit there because her hybrid damage and tons of you can just change a weapon and just go whatever week it is. You just delete it with her.
As I said, there's too many names to too many chambers at this point.
Yes. Yeah, did you all remember there was a Chamber of the Reborn at the bottom of the Chamber of the Fallen that we had now? So I was like, oh yeah, this was a thing.
We need to consolidate them all nicely into one place in the Chamber of Chambers.
Yeah. All right, but I've talked enough about Elena. Who wants to go next?
Cotton, why don't you talk about your favorite unit?
So since I'm clearly not allowed to talk about Chow, my favorite unit of 2019 is actually how do you pronounce it? Tsukiko?
Tsukiko. Yeah, Tsukiko.
Tsukiko. But anyway, it's not that I like her more for her design, not her damage. Like, she's a fox lady. Her wind animation summons white foxes. Like, what's not to like?
It's adorable. Adorable.
Yes.
She's terrible color coordinating, though. My goodness, that outfit is so awful looking. Me and Cotton have argued over this a lot.
Didn't you just insult an entire cultural group just saying? Because isn't that like a traditional outfit or something?
No, I've seen the traditional outfits. And that's fine. Like those are totally fine. But the one on Tsukiko, I don't know why, but it's just so. It looks like puke to me.
It looks like puke. that's the short bit.
But clearly, because it has no taste, considering he likes Final Fantasy Tactics.
There we go.
Ooh, but Final Fantasy Tactics is great. Ooh.
Yeah, you just lost that argument. Congratulations.
I do like Tsukiko because she was one of the few units that could actually break and do DPS reliably. But the timing of Tsukiko's release was really weird, and she came out on the banner with this other dude that is kind of really, really bad. So I never really cared for her, and I never pulled for her. But I do agree that her unit design in and of itself is crazy. It's crazy good.
And she was obviously, very obviously designed to take down Moon. She has the relevant killers, relevant elements. It's like she's just amazing for Moon.
Yeah, 100%. She was definitely made for Moon in mind.
I think most importantly, she has guts.
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. Megumi always does this. I remember back when the first Malboro came out, and we had this really random ass banner with Trans Terra and Warrior of Light, and everybody was like, "What the hell's going on?" But then
Malboro Killer's banner.
Yeah.
It was actually called, so they weren't
days.
sneaking around with that, because that was actually called the Marlboro Killer banner, right?
To be fair, Transterra was really bad at the time. She didn't get her ability awakenings until later.
Yeah.
It was a pull for this banner now. Use them in 6 months against Malboro Killer's trial.
I mean, I pulled on it. I wanted 8 Transterras, so.
You wanted the STMR?
Yeah.
I still don't have it.
And just use this as further proof as to why Bharos has very, very bad decision-making skills.
In fact, I still don't have a single Transterra after 3.5 years.
Listen, I'm just going to say it, Dream, you have terrible luck, because you haven't pulled any of the strong units at the right time.
I get some, but yeah, my luck is in general pretty bad.
So, Dream, who is your favorite global exclusive unit of 2019?
I wouldn't say I was mega attached to any of them, but I'll go with probably Esther and or Sylvie, because I pulled quite a bit on that banner, got both of them 7-star, and Sylvie especially was pretty big for my team comp because I didn't have any healers or anything with ailment immunity buffs, and so that was a big hole in my team that she was able to fill and cover for me, and so I basically used her until I got Warrior of Light Lena, and then basically dropped her after that. But also, their designs are cute, especially Sylvie's win animation, where she's trying to pick up all the bunnies. That's really nice.
Bunnies.
And obviously, Esther was great for damage for a long time for me. And
She still was, right?
yeah, I managed. Well, I wouldn't say she was great for Demon Wall, but she did get the job done. So yeah, I got a lot of mileage out of those two. So I'm probably the most attached to them out of 2019. Purely on sprite alone, I would probably pick Tsukiko and Kaito though, because I really like that traditional Japanese aesthetic as well.
Yeah, I actually like Kaito a lot for his aesthetic. I actually pulled on his banner just to get him, and I did get him. But I've
Just
never used
wonderfully.
him once. I'm hoping for like excellent awakenings for him, though.
You guys just don't have the right vision. Kaito's good now, don't you understand?
Yeah, he changed the meta. You guys just don't understand.
It's just a meta of, I don't know, that none of us understand apparently. So my favorite unit of 2019 that was a global exclusive. It's kind of cheating because it was originally released earlier, but she got a complete rework in 2019, and that's Malphasy. I really like Malphasy. Number one, her sprite is amazing. Kudos to the artist who drew her. It's just one of the best sprites I think that we have in the game. And her kit is just so much fun, and she has so much different utility. Even though she's kind of fallen off as far as damage, she's great to take to Item World for me, because I can just W cast Birds of a Feather and Turmoil every turn. I also like her STMR is incredible. I still use 2 of them every single day, basically on every unit. It's great. It's great. And yeah, I can't wait till she gets her latents, her enhancements, because she's been really fun every time.
Yeah, I was originally going to talk about Malphasy before you did, but it's okay. And that whole remake banner was actually amazing for me, because before that happened, my best DPS was actually Pyroglacial Laswell. So after Malphasy's remake, that was her, and I pulled on that banner and got 2 of her STMRs from it. So it's like, for me, 2019's highlight was getting 2 Malphasy STMRs. So
yeah,
Nice.
I use my STMR Moogle on a second one, and I have never regretted it. It's been an amazing one.
I'm still just sort of waiting for my 4th copy of her patiently.
Use an STMR Moogle. You know you want to do
I
it.
would probably prefer to use 8 select tickets actually for a prism, but yeah, that's something I'm actually strongly considering doing at some point.
I've almost considered doing it for a 3rd Ravenheart at this
Oh,
point.
gee.
I mean, like, you need to gear all of those friend units. Like, how the fuck are you going to do it without 4 Ravenhearts?
I like the 3 best units right now are all TDW, and I only have so many Ravenhearts.
I would even argue that if you have a TDW unit, her STMR is probably better than AI Katie's, just because you don't have to wait 5 seconds every turn
Yes.
for AI Katie's things
Thank
to
you.
happen. So.
You should never ever equip that on a friend unit ever. Thank you. Thank you for coming to TED Talk.
But why you want to, like, you can use that and Subservient. I could do that, actually, just slap on all the autocast gear on the friend unit.
I told you guys that Xenochrist put 10 autocasts on an Emperor Fu, and I took him to a Earth Shrine just to see how long it would take. It was legit 8 seconds before I could use that unit.
Wow, nice.
Oh boy.
So Gumi, please, for the love, just stop doing this stupid design and make them cast all at the same time with no delay.
Yes, thank you.
They're going to do the exact opposite now.
Yeah. I don't know if they can unravel the spaghetti code that much.
Instead of using the cast animation, they'll use the swing animation, and the unit will have a 4-second long auto attack.
Oh my gosh.
Why not just make all chainers walking?
Please fix Olive. Please fix her. I know you guys listen to this. Okay, they probably
We
don't.
hope you listen to this.
Muscle, who's your favorite unit of 2019?
My favorite unit of 2019 is Kaito, not because he's good, he's fucking awful, but because he gave us one of the best copy pastas of all time.
That is true. That's actually fully true.
He's doing this.
It has been the joke of 2019, and I'm worried you're going to continue it into 2020.
So can you tell us a bit about his uniqueness, Muspel?
So let's get back to reality for a second. I can't even remember the rest of it off the top of my head.
Oh, come on. You should have had it written down.
Oh, I know.
Everything you said has been backed by Fujimoto-san.
Now he's going to go look it up.
Anyways, I
thought you had it memorized already, as Muspel.
My actual favorite of 2019 is AI Katie. She's a really weird unit on paper because she has like a little bit from every single role in her kit, aside from, I guess, buffer. I mean, she has elemental resist, but I wouldn't really say that she's much of a buffer. But the way that you actually use her, or the way that I use her, is as a tank who also breaks. Because on turn 1, if you use her cooldown, a cover, and her break, then she'll apply 70% breaks and also have a cover. She's pretty tanky. She's not like the tankiest unit in the game, but she can survive anything. And being able to get breaks from your tank means that you can always bring 2 tanks and a buffer, which is a huge help when you have strong buffers, because normally you can't normally it's harder to fit buffers into your team because you're either giving up the second tank or you're giving up a buffer. And being able to bring somebody like Luna Freya or whatever is a big deal on a lot of trials.
And it's really nice that her breaks are all triple cast, right? So you can very easily switch targets if you need to break multiple units as well.
Yeah, she does struggle with breaks on AoE fights. In practice, I would typically not use her on those unless you have somebody else to help out on turn 1, because on turn 1 she can't break more than one enemy unless you don't have her cover, which is probably a very bad idea.
So Muspel, is your biggest disappointment of 2018 leaving the Fan Festa early and missing the actual Katy Perry performing?
Yeah, it was too cold there, and I forgot my jacket.
And it's because I was on my way. He knew I was coming. He wanted to avoid me.
I like that. I like that. I like that version of the story better. Regarding AI Katie though, I have trouble with her because it's like she does so many things, and it's like when that banner first came out, I really was tempted to pull on it, but then it was like what, a 10K banner with 2 steps, right? Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I couldn't really justify pulling on it just because I wanted that STMR, because that's the only reason I would think anybody wants AI Katie. Than having a proper tank and having a proper breaker. So, but that was my thing, and I didn't like her sprite at all. Her sprite's so ugly.
Yeah, she's just such a versatile unit. I understand why Muspel would. Also, he's a big Katy Perry fan, so that's really the reason. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I think so.
For me, I think the worst thing about AI Katie is that any builder operation on her takes 1,000 years to complete.
I've actually found it's not that bad for tanking. You can usually pin a few items, like you obviously pin her own TM, and then you can usually pin like Imperial Armor or something on her if you have it, and then from there it's pretty straightforward.
I feel like most hybrid units suffer from this, though. If you're a hybrid unit with a lot of weapon selections, it's going to take forever in the builder.
How is her DPS?
It was pretty low. I think it was about the same as Mouth's actually, but with a 75% external Imperial.
Yeah, I think you could push her up to be similar to Elena if you give her 100% Imperial, but it really it wasn't worth it. I think she had higher potential with STMRs, but who cares?
Yeah, by that point,
she was way better as a tank.
She's still my biggest regret though, because like her STMR is even better than Malf's Ravenheart.
It's not.
It's not.
It is.
Definitely not for mages.
I mean, it's technically better, okay? Like, I know the animation is horrible, but it's technically better. And I never pulled for her, and that's still a huge regret, because I should have just pulled for her and used an STMR ticket.
Well, I would say Dream's correct, though, that Ravenheart's better for mages and hybrid units because it has the magic TDW as well. And
the problem, though, is that
does not.
There's been one hybrid TDW unit that was good at 7-star, ever.
Who are you referring to?
Malphus.
Okay. I was just
like there are a few others that are TDW, but by the time they came out, they were terrible. Like Nagi and Kunshira and Light Veritas. By the time they got their 7 stars, no.
Yeah, you do have a point there.
I was gonna say War of the Visions, Greg, but I think he prefers one or the other, right?
Yeah, from what I understand, he's not a normal hybrid unit. He picks one.
I think the only thing in his kit that actually does hybrid damage is his limit burst, and then all his skills are either attack or magic based.
Oh, my 2 Beowulf STMRs are going back into the closet now.
Yeah,
they were so excited for a second.
And the thing is, like, if you look at the hybrid units in GL, like half of them are global exclusive, more than half, and they're almost all TDH. There is someone at Gumi that has a raging erection for TDH hybrid units.
I mean, I believe you, because it is true.
I mean, we just need to wait and see those sick Nagi enhancements that are going to come soon, and definitely not be disappointing like her JP ones.
She's TDW. Yeah. She's not going to get them. The only time that Gumi has ever failed a TDH hybrid unit is when they didn't give Felix his enhancements.
Yet. Wait, who's Felix?
What's a Felix? What's a Felix? Sorry,
Shadow. I know I'm really excited for your favorite unit because I know he's one of the best buffers in the game. Will you tell us who it is?
So my favorite unit, flex unit from last year was Dr. Aiden. And this is from somebody who owns literally every single healer in the game. But when Dr. Aiden first came out, I was actually a doubter until I actually started using him. And in practice, he's actually one of the best healers in the game. And whoever designed him in Gumi is I give him all the props or her all the props because he has the best sprite. He clearly has the most sick ass looking sprite in the game. He has an amazing TMR, an amazing STMR, the best healer kit, the best support kit, and on top of that, he can be an evade provoke tank. So, like, I don't know how this guy is clearly not the best healer in the game.
Yeah. But you say he heals?
Yes, he actually heals, contrary to popular belief.
Yeah, we did promise not to do this joke. We did. But
I know, but I can make it because I actually use Dr. Aiden all the time, and I completely agree with Shadow. I have Lena, I have Myra, I have Folka, I have every other freaking healer. And every time I use another one, I'm like, man, Aiden would have done this better.
But let's talk about one thing that you have to keep in mind when using Aiden, and that it's not straightforward because his ability heals are a bit lower than the other healers, right? So, Shadow, can you tell us what do you need to do in order to get like decent per turn healing?
So one of the things that happens with Aiden is that you need to plan ahead. Like his LB. So first of all, one of his cooldowns raises his healing abilities modifier, so you can heal more. So you need to either proc that immediately on turn 1 so that your healing does more later on, or you need to use that whenever you think you're going to take a lot of damage. So there is a little planning ahead involved. And he has a lot of heal over time, which is, I think, a great advantage. His LB has a heal over time. Some of his cooldowns have a heal over time. The heal over time is an advantage because Aiden's biggest buff is biggest differentiation between the other healers is that he actually has a lot of HP barriers. So if there's any damage over time or poison going on from the boss that you can't dispel for some reason, heal over time is actually a really good way to get you top up the rest of the HP for the rest of your team without relying on anything else. So Aiden's ability to do heal over time, heal, and HP barrier actually make him a really good healer because, he heals without just Kuraja. He can heal with other 3 different sources and keep your team alive.
What's really nice as well is that, I know, Shadow, you said you have to plan ahead with him, but he's also really forgiving when you run into trouble. Like his ailment and stat buff removes the current stat buffs and then resists them just like Sylvie does. And he's got a lot of different re-raise capabilities. He can spam re-raise. He's got a lot of cool things that you can recover easily from that other healers just don't have.
Yeah, and he's still the only healer that can theoretically spam AoE re-raise. What happens is that his spammable ability raises the whole team, and then the next turn auto casts an AoE re-raise with 30% HP. So you can slot that into like every other W cast if you really want to, allowing for spamming AoE re-raise, which other healers can't. So he's really unique.
It's really funny that the people who argue for his rating to be improved are the people that actually use him and have him, and the people that argue against it are the people that have never used him.
Oh, you're going to use this as a political platform. I see where this is going.
Fight.
No, but okay. But he does require planning. His LB does heal for a shit ton. It's like around 9 to 10k or something per turn as a heal over time, right?
And you can really spam his LB fairly often, and it comes with a 4k barrier the next turn. So you can realistically have at least a 1k barrier, if not 3 or 4k barriers, almost every turn. It's pretty nice.
One thing to keep in mind, though, is that if it's a boss that dispels, then some of Aiden's advantages are going to go away with some frequency, which can be difficult for him to deal with.
All right. Hey, Shadow, are you ready to pull on the Delphinner?
I have the screen ready. Okay, so I'm going to do my first 3K. Okay, here we go.
All right, listen. Good luck. You can do this.
Thank you.
I believe in you.
Now you get a prism no matter what. So you can get a prism already.
So I see a rainbow. I see one rainbow. The second Kryl. Okay.
Oh boy.
Warrior of Light Kryl. Okay, that's
her STMR is really good though.
Yeah. All right. Next step is the 4K step. Let's see. Do I see a rainbow?
This is so exciting.
I see another rainbow.
What the heck?
Oh boy.
Oh, that's Edel. Okay, that's my second Edel. Do I finish the step up?
Yes.
But
yes.
Okay. So you could get the STMR if you get another Edel, right?
That's true. Yeah, one more Edel will be an STMR. What's our STMR again?
55 attack.
Stop resistance.
Oh, stop resist. Okay, I'll take that.
And 30% with fists, attack with fists.
Oh yeah, forget about that part.
I mean, for the EP-ness, if you're real life.
Oh, I see 3 rainbows. 3 rainbows in the final.
What the actual fuck? What the hell? Okay.
I got all blues on my step up. All blues.
Okay, first Morgana, second Fid, And first stress the alien.
Oh, too
Hey, that's
bad.
a good poll, though, man. That's a good poll.
I mean, now
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
to continue. Like, you have to do another round. You have to get that STMR.
Or actually, what you can do is use 8 UOCs and get another prism.
I'll use the 4-star ticket that I got from the just like.
I wouldn't
Oh,
say it's worth UOC for that STMR though. Like, it's definitely an EP in STMR, but
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
an
in
EP.
reality, like the Luneth clothes are much better because of the resistances.
Okay.
Only sometimes.
Yeah, that was a really good pull. I got a second fit from that. That's my best.
Yeah, very nice. Congratulations.
Oh,
Fit
you
is
get
an
the-
excellent unit.
You get the 10% Adele ticket on that too, don't you?
Oh, yeah, I have to do another 3K, which I'm not gonna
Hey,
do.
by the way, Shadow, did you know that Fit actually heals more than Aiden?
Hey, you know what?
Oh god.
Now let's go back to reality for a moment. Everything I said about Dr. Aiden was backed up by Fujimoto-san himself when I asked him about Dr. Aiden and the ideas behind his design. Unique, variety, powerful, balance, and synergy all came out, but none of the crap you were trying to spit out.
There we go. I've been waiting for that.
Oh, bravo!
Glad we got that in.
And on
Yes.
that note, we'll see you guys next week. Thank you, Muscle. So that was so great.